Now at 5:30, a Lexington woman is in jail this morning charged with exploitation of an adult. Police say she stole thousands of dollars from an elderly woman.
And the new Richmond city manager has resigned not long after he first took the job. We'll tell you why.
And with the first GOP debate for the 2016 presidential campaign in the books, we're taking a look at how the debate played out.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Moody in for Bill Bryant this morning.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you.
Yeah, good to have some fun on the desk today.
We've got a little bit of a switcherooski going on. We got you and we got Jim. It's like madness, Jim.
Total madness here this morning on this Friday edition of WKYT This Morning. You're right. And we're about to change the forecast up, too. We've had rounds of showers and some thunderstorms throughout the week. But today, as you can even see on Defender, things are looking a whole lot better out there. Only a few showers still hanging out across parts of eastern Kentucky. Mid-60s coming into play here in Lexington, Richmond, up toward Frankfort. And you've got some upper 60s down to our south and to our east. Around us, things are generally quiet, except across parts of Missouri. Some explosive thunderstorms just kind of have blown up there over the past few hours. Not to impact us, though. Here's the forecast for today. Showers are ending out there. Our daytime high gets up to around 80 degrees. We'll still have some clouds around, but the sunshine will make an appearance. I'll track it into the area coming up hour by hour for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jim. New this morning, we are tracking the investigation into an exploitation case in Lexington.
And 23-year-old Mackenzie Metter is charged with the exploitation of an adult. Police say she fraudulently cashed checks meant to pay another woman's medical bills. WKYT's Victor Puente is live from District Court with the latest details. Victor, what can you tell us?
According to her arrest warrant, Mackenzie Metter told police that money was meant as a gift, but police say the victim told them it was all supposed to go to medical expenses. That paperwork says Metter took more than $11,000 over a 2-week period in July from a woman she was supposed to be helping as a home health nurse. She was arrested yesterday at her home on Northwood Drive. Police say the victim's bank tipped off her family after Metter cashed more than 4 checks. Cashed those 4 checks. Now, the victim told police she would sign checks to pay for medical expenses and have Metter complete the information, but police say instead Metter kept that money. Metter told police the checks were gifts because the victim believed she deserved additional money for her work. The warrant says Metter admitted to taking the checks, but said the victim didn't record them as going to her, so she didn't get in trouble with her employer. The victim's family told police those checks were supposed to go to the health care agency. Metter is charged with wanton and reckless exploitation of an adult. She'll be arraigned here at the courthouse later today. Live in Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Also new this morning, 2 people are dead after police responded to a report of a stabbing in northern Kentucky. That situation unfolded around 7:30 last night in Ellesmere. That's where officers were called to a home on Seneca Trail near Oneida. Kentucky State Police say it was a domestic situation where a woman was stabbed. When Ellesmere police arrived, an officer fired a shot at that man.
This is a critical incident for the officer too, and they actually go through some counseling and some support. It's a traumatic experience obviously on the victim's side, the victim's family, and also on the officer. The actual number of people in the house, I can tell you there were kids involved. What I can't tell you if the kids were in the house when it happened or not.
The names of those people and the officer who was involved have not been released.
Well, new this morning, a Lawrenceburg man wanted on many charges turned himself into police, only to find he faces charges he didn't even know existed. Brent Wayne Campbell has been wanted since January for allegedly hitting a pregnant woman in the head with a hammer. According to the Anderson News, he turned himself in on those charges. Police dropped 3 more warrants on him. Police say the warrants were related to Campbell driving his motorcycle with a suspended license and fleeing police. He pleaded not guilty this week to the charges in all 3 warrants.
Well, he may have just been hired to be the Richmond city manager, but Jimmy Hogg is already resigning. It comes after the state auditor's office raised questions about how Hogg handled money while he was Somerset's budget director. According to the Richmond Register, one of the auditor's findings says Hogg misused about $3,000 worth of city money in 2010, and the city never made him pay it back. Even with the investigation, the mayor says he wishes Hogg well in his new endeavors.
He thought it'd be the best interest for he and the city both. I think he understands, and he was more in tune to feel like that it might be more pressure and conflicting than it would be worth. So we just wish him the best.
Now the city of Somerset is suing the state auditor. They claim he didn't have the legal authority to examine the city. In addition, they say his examination was arbitrary and capricious in violation of the Kentucky Constitution. The mayor says the city's next move is to start screening new applicants for the position.
We have an update now to a story we first brought you on WKYT this morning. The Richmond city manager tells us there's no ongoing investigation after a woman found a bag of dead puppies along a roadway. The woman says during her daily walk on Atwood Drive Wednesday, she found the bag near a dead end. The city manager tells us they're not sure how long the bag was there. In addition, he says no one is investigating and there are no criminal charges being sought. The puppies were buried yesterday evening. An update this morning to an officer-involved shooting case we've been tracking out of Louisville. The two officers involved have been identified. Police say Detective John White and Sergeant Jason Poston shot and killed 18-year-old Tyler Datillo when Datillo charged at them holding a knife. Both officers are on administrative leave. Police say Datillo's ID shows he's from Crestview, Florida. They're still trying to find his next of kin.
Last night, the top 10 candidates for the Republican ticket for president squared off in the first televised GOP debate, the 2016 campaign.
Yep, Kentucky's own Senator Rand Paul made the cut and made sure to leave his mark on the debate. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain at our live desk with a look at this. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. And yes, Paul did leave his mark on the debate by being the first to go after Donald Trump. All eyes were on the businessman who was quick to cause a reaction from the debate crowd in Cleveland, Ohio. Trump said he would be willing to run as an independent if need be, and Paul quickly interjected, saying that Trump was, quote, already hedging his bet on the Clintons. Paul also went back and forth a lot with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. The two had a heated debate over government surveillance.
And I'm proud of standing for the Bill of Rights, and I will continue to stand for the Bill of Rights.
And Megan, that's a completely ridiculous answer. How are you supposed to know, Megan?
Use the Fourth
What are you supposed
Amendment.
to? How are you supposed
Use
to?
the Fourth
No, I'll tell you how you
get a warrant.
Let me tell you something.
Get
you
a judge to sign
when
a warrant.
Senator.
Wait, Governor Christie, make your point.
Listen, Senator, when you're sitting in a subcommittee just blowing hot air about this, you can say things like that. When you're responsible for protecting the lives of the American people, then what you need to do is to make sure that you use the system the way it's supposed to work.
Here's the problem, Governor. You fundamentally misunderstand the Bill of Rights. Every time you did a case, you got a warrant from a judge. I'm talking about searches without warrants, indiscriminately of all Americans' records, and that's what I fought to end.
Definitely entertaining, to say the least. Now, Paul was once a front runner, but has fallen in the polls with the addition of other candidates like Donald Trump. At the live desk, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Pretty intense, Michelle. Thank you. Now, while that debate just wrapped up late last night, the 17 Republican presidential contenders are pressing already ahead with their campaigns. Brian Webb has analysis from New York.
We're going to win this thing. Thank you all very much.
Shortly after the debate, Jeb Bush continued his push for the GOP nomination. But if last night was any indication, political experts say it may be months before the crowded field of contenders is narrowed down.
No one had a big gaffe that would disqualify them. Most of the candidates, I would say 7 or 8 of them, had at least one very strong answer that they can be proud of.
You're not going to make the pledge tonight. I will not make the pledge at this time. Okay.
Donald Trump drew boos from the crowd for refusing to rule out running as an independent, something many see as a threat to the Republicans winning the White House.
If Donald Trump is seen as that threat, I think you're going to see a lot of Republicans say, well, wait a second, why are we getting on board with this?
He managed to dominate Google searches for his rhetoric, but left the more substantive debate on immigration and other issues to his fellow candidates.
The evidence is now clear that the majority of people coming across the border are not from Mexico. They're coming from Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras.
Before the primetime debate, the 7 lower-tier GOP candidates participated in a happy hour debate. It piqued social media interest in former Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fiorina.
Hillary Clinton lies about Benghazi. She lies about emails. She is still defending Planned Parenthood, and she is still her party's front runner.
The only woman running on the Republican side, pundits say she could now be the one to watch. Brian Webb for CBS News.
Now, on Thursday, the Democratic Party announced they will hold their first debate in Nevada in October.
All right, thanks so much, Sean. A full-scale search for a missing camper in Wolfe County will continue tomorrow. Josh Atkins of Richmond was last seen running away from his family Saturday night at the Coomer Ridge campground. Search and rescue teams from several counties have been looking for him ever since. As team members tell us, the search has not been easy. Rough terrain and snakes have hindered it. In addition, 3 rescuers have been injured while searching the Red River Gorge. A courtroom outburst could spell even more legal trouble for a Harlan County man. A judge sentenced 58-year-old Cletus Robbins Jr. to 25 years in prison for kidnapping, robbery, and assault. But during the sentencing, Robbins started using profanity at the assistant Commonwealth's attorney. So the prosecutor asked the judge to make him stop. And as you'll see in the video, Robbins just kept on going.
Don't. Hey, now none of that. Hey, none of that. Now just calm down.
Yeah. You calm down.
You take it easy.
You're in court here.
Listen, buddy, I'm too old for this.
Hey, I'm too old for this too.
Well, the prosecutors also say Robbins spit at them. They say he could face even more charges for his tirade.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says a Facebook post calling on drug dealers to turn each other in is working. We first told you about that post on Monday night at 11. Since then, the sheriff says his office has been receiving tips thanks to that post. One of the tips led deputies to a home where they say they found marijuana, cocaine, money, and handguns inside. Deputies arrested Terrell Jackson and Anita Waddell. Court workers say a judge released Jackson and Waddell on their own recognizance, but they'll be back in court next month. Well, it's time to check on live drive traffic this morning.
Let's see if anything's happening out on the roads. Not hearing of too many issues. We do see a bit of fog out there this morning, so make sure to watch out for that. In addition, on the Waze app, some reports of stalled vehicles as well.
Yeah, there's one right there at the I-64 and 75 intersection leading toward Lexington. Another one over on Versailles Road just outside New Circle. Other than that, your morning commute should be clear. We hope it is for you. It's 5:41. There's still a whole lot more to come this morning.
A priceless instrument has been found after disappearing decades ago. We'll tell you its story coming up in 5 minutes.
And I'll be tracking some showers out of the area as we likely give way to sunshine and drier conditions for at least the first part of the weekend. We'll take a closer look coming up.